I think for us it's been a huge learning experience. It's been really exciting. But what we've gained through contact with other professionals, innovative professionals working in challenging fields, has been really shared knowledge, shared expertise, shared trust. And that's certainly made it a lot easier for us to coordinate service and support for families. I think harnessing the energy of other people that are really passionate about their work is really part of the process. And I think for us, when our multi-agency panel comes together, you see that actually happening. You see people picking up on ideas and inspiration. But actually, a lot of that inspiration comes from the family themselves. And I think that's a really important factor. It's about going back down to the people that you're supporting and saying, what worked, what didn't work, what did we get right, what did we get wrong? And in the very early part of your engagement, asking them what worked in the past with other agencies. And I think then building on that. But they have to have a key role in that process.
If you're going to deliver services that are meaningful and relevant to children and young people, if you can find a way in which children and young people are involved in how those services are planned and delivered, I mean, one of the excellent areas of work that colleagues have been working on is actually involving children and young people about what their perception of the workforce is. What does it mean when somebody, a professional, comes in and asks you to leave the classroom because you've got a session with them? So involving children and young people in terms of them making a DVD about that experience, we can then share that in terms of staff induction and part of our integrated training to say, if you want to come and work for us, if you want to come and work for children and young people on the Isle of Wight, well then we start from here. We start from the perceptions that children and young people have of our services.
I mean, one of the things that's really worried me is that too often professionals come to it from their professional standpoint. We've almost got to take those shoes off and be the child and the young person and what support we can provide, and move away from this notion that it's whoever catches the parcel with the word problem on it and move it around, to sit together and to own the solution and to make a difference for that child and young person. They are the drivers of what we do. We don't have a job otherwise.
Tell me about your work, some of the struggles you've had engaging with the voluntary sector and getting them on board.
I think in our context on the Isle of Wight, we work with a lot of smaller voluntary and community sector organisations, and I think capacity is a huge issue for some of our voluntary organisations in terms of getting along to meetings and being part of the integrated working agenda. What I think the Isle of Wight done, which is quite imaginative with the Children's Fund money, they created a post, a joint post, well, my post, which is Children's Fund Manager and Voluntary and Community Sector Development Officer. And it's my job to represent the voluntary and community sector on different strategic groups, such as the local Safeguarding Children's Board and the Children's Trust Executive. I also hold network meetings of all of the different voluntary organisations, so that I'm feeding their views through at a strategic level, but also that they're informed and up to date with anything that's happening within the trust.
It's been a tough journey for the island here since its inspection in 2006, but we have made progress. And I want to pay tribute actually to the people who work on the ground, because very often the leadership is provided by the professionals, the nurses, the health visitors, the social workers, the children's centres workers, the early years development officers who are faced with these families on a day-to-day basis and get on with it. What I've been seeking to do over the last year is build a structure around that makes a difference. So it's not top-down, but it's one that builds on the strengths of what's happening on the ground.
What do you think would have happened if they hadn't have got their act together and started to communicate with each other? What would have happened for you and your family?
I'd have lost my children, definitely. But it was a long fight, but I would have lost the children, but I mean, I didn't, thankfully, but it was hard. But once they started communicating, they started getting the full story. It wasn't me that wrong, it was other people, Things weren't happening in schools, clubs, things, When you're a single parent, it's hard to cope with all of it.
We're looking to integrate all our services for children and young people across the Isle of Wight. The services currently provided by the youth service, social care, education, the health service and the third sector, and how they can operate more efficiently, not duplicate work.
for me, the sadness is that the young people themselves have come to accept second best, and that's not good enough. And if we look at the opportunities, the jobs that are available on the island, the standards, they don't deserve second best. They're wonderful young people, they deserve the best.